So guys, welcome to the second session. Like the agenda we have discussed, we won't be doing Git today. We will be mostly discussing how we are going to find our issues and cater all the ceremony which comes with it, right? So mostly today's focus will be on how do you find a project, you know. So there are multiple techniques, but which mostly I will be discussing like 2 3 ways which I feel they are kind of separate, which other guys share with you, or even if you go for introductory video, they will give you a link with some notes, matlab, tags which you can search out and you can find what all where are the places you can get the PR good for first time, मतलब beginners issues to get resolved. But since that community is mostly focused on web development, we are not able to actually figure out how we can get Android specific issues. So I've been doing these contribution from three years. So these are the my ways I am able to figure out where how I can get the Android specific PRs, right? So you might so the first thing is that you might have heard about this awesome Android list. So if you google out awesome Android list, you might end up with a curated list of lot of repositories which people put together to showcase Android apps. So these are great place to start off. If I tell you the repository which I recommend is to go at Android Dev Notes, right? So this guy has collected best this Kotlin as well as Android Jetpack Compose applications. So what you can do, you can scroll down. These are the categories which he have figured out, right? So in the beginning, since most of you are new to the contribution, if you are familiar with MVVM, MVI or MVC kind of patterns, you can look projects very specific to it, because the working environment, right, will be very familiar to. For example, MVVM is very common for the new guys which are coming into the Android ecosystem. So if you just click on here, you will come to this section, right? This is the list of all those projects that have been built using MVVM. So what you guys can do, you can start out from the top. You can go look into the project. So you can see there are 11 issues, right? You can come here and you can scroll through it and see is there any issue that you can solve, right? So that's how you can do it first. Later I will tell you how to conversate with the maintainer to get these क्या कहते हैं, get these issues assigned to you and also get it merged. I will be sharing that details later, but right now I'm giving you the scope how you can find the new repositories. So first technique is that I will share these links, these two repositories into the Slack channel. You guys can open it up, select your architecture which you feel you are very comfortable with and you can work in it, and go to their repository and check if they have issues. Also this repository is maintained regularly. So all these readme get automatically updated with the last time the commit was made, right? So you can see that it is already written here ki 3 days ago there was a change in the repository. See there 33 minutes ago. Then this means that it is confirmed that if you are picking up projects from these repository, you will definitely get a feedback or a message from the maintainer, right? So these are, you can say, these are the active Android repositories that you can contribute to. So first I will say that use awesome list which have been shared by Android devs or Android dev note or other guys like Vesabi or someone else to reach out to all these you can shuffle off all those issues that you can solve. This is also for experienced people, right? Since these repositories are in that regular maintenance kind of thing, the issues you will find here won't be easier one. You might easily get an hard or medium level issue to solve, right? So for the experienced guy who were asking me how they can find good repositories to contribute to, you can definitely look into these practice, right? So this one is for Jetpack Compose. If you are planning to learn Jetpack Compose or you already have some experience, you can contribute to these projects. You can even learn Jetpack Compose while solving their bugs and issues. Right. I will also share some strategies later on in this session. How you should be doing stuff. How should be you should be picking up issues that you are comfortable with. But right now, this is regarding those the awesomeness, right? So these two are the one which I recommend to you guys to contribute to. I will share their links as well in the Slack channel. So the second thing that you can use is GitHub Explore. So this is very common technique. Everyone knows about it. Ki just come to your GitHub, right? Click on this Explore, right? When you click on this Explore session, when you come to Git, press this. You will end up here. What is happening? Okay, sorry. After getting Explore, you have to go on trending, right? After going on trending, you will end up on this page. You can select your language. For example, if I do write Kotlin, so Android is not there in this. The language is the primitive building block languages which they have created the you can say filters on, right? So you can search for Kotlin. You will mostly get Android related projects. So these are the trending repositories. You can understand that these repositories are getting lot of traffic and attention of the developer community. So it will be very good for you if you contribute into these repositories, because everyone might be knowing about them, and they will also contribute a lot to your repository, right? So even I use this application to read manga and all. So I think they have like 446 issues, right? So I think I will be interested in contributing to them this time. So you guys also can pick up the trending repositories and make your contribution here. Right. The other thing is that you can also filter it depending upon today, weekly or monthly. So monthly will be, I will say, if you want to only contribute to a very valuable repository, then you should be using the monthly filter, because if application or a project is trending the whole month, then it is a huge chance that entire ecosystem, Android ecosystem knows about it, right? So you guys can use these filters, go into the repositories and search for the issues that are open and contribute. So this was the one regarding the GitHub Explore filters and trending repositories. The other issue, this is an advanced technique, not many people know about it, right? So if you come to this to your GitHub, right, you can see there is a issue tab in here. If you click on issue, it will show you the issues that are assigned to you. It shows you your issues, right? But there is no, what we can say, there is no advantage of looking your issues in it. But we can using these filters here into the search box, we can also browse the open issues that that are there on the entire GitHub, right? So I have this filter. I will also copy paste this filter inside that Slack channel. You can copy this filter, you can paste it here and just cut the no sign, and you can, so what is that key, if I explain you the filter, I am using the open one, right? The open one is key all the issues are open, right? They are not archived, means ki the contributor has not stopped developing that project, and the language is Kotlin, right? And good first issues are the tag which is given by the repository maintainers to mark that it's a issue that is easy to maintain, right? And the label Hacktoberfest is the label which Hacktoberfest guidelines suggest you to add if you want to enable your project to be public for people to contribute. So if you just search for this filter, all these repositories need help, right? So for beginners to advanced people, right, if you won't be you will be getting lot of issues in here. So forget about the 4 EPR mark. You can search and give like 50 plus contribution from here itself, right? So you just once you apply this filter, just go to any of the project, right? You can you can also just click on this one. The issue will directly open, otherwise the repository will open. So here they have mentioned what's the issue, and you can chat with the the maintainer and be ready with your contribution, right? So this is the most advanced technique that everyone can use, from expert to the beginner. So I will suggest you, if you are not able to, if you use the other two techniques like GitHub Explore and trending repositories and awesome list, so you might be end up with a project which is very advanced for you, right? But if you use this filter, you will get from beginner level issues that you can easily solve. So all the beginners that are who are first time starting or just want to complete Hacktoberfest, as soon as possible you guys can use this filter and solve these issues. Okay, I will drop the filter link inside the Slack channel after this session, right? So this was the last technique, you can say, I've been using from last 3 years to hunt issues, right? But even if you get the issue in your hand, it is very essential for you to able to understand how to select that repository. Matlab, if you can see, I'm getting like 100 plus projects in the projects in here, right? How should I be going and deciding I should be contributing to them or not? So you should be looking out for qualified open source projects, right? If they are qualified, you will be much more comfortable helping navigating into them and solve the issue. So these are the some good to have things when you are judging the quality of a open source project. So first most thing which I will emphasize is that the project should have a readme on documentation. What it will do, it will give you the higher level understanding of the project, the project control, how many libraries are there in the project, right? And some kind of architectural and navigational help that that will be comfortable, that will make you make your life easier to navigate and understand that project. So that's why I also recommended you the awesome list, because in every awesome list every readme is maintained, so contributing to it will become very easy. The second thing is the contribution guide. So a contribution guide is a readme which has all the steps that you need to take care of while contributing to the project. So like we have style guides and contribution style guides ki style guides and format ki we will use if else with or without brackets or not. We will put class class body lambdas in the above line or the next line, right? So these are standards, right? Those standards are we use them in our Android project commonly. The similar way the contribution guideline is varies from project to project, right? So you should definitely be looking for contribution guide, and if it's not there, right, you should when you are fixing an issue, you should ask for it from the maintainer. At least he will give you an overview what he is expecting in terms of contribution, right? The other thing is number of stars. If a project has huge number of stars, right, then it is much more likely that the project is popular, and since it is popular, it will be well maintained, right? Because lot of people are getting onto it and they are showing their interest. Even if they have star, people will be coming and contributing itself. So if the initial guy who has started the repository didn't add the readme, the other guys might already have done that, right? The second thing is number of forks, right? So if number of forks are too much, then you can understand that project is easy to contribute in. And if there is a project which has like 100 forks of it, then you can understand that people are easily able to make modification into that code. So it's not a huge क्या कहते हैं point to be noticing, but it's a factor that if there are a lot of forks, it is easy to contribute in, right? And the last is last committed time. So this will tell you ki if the project is active or not. It might happen that the project has lot of stars, lot of forks, but it has not been doing commits from 2-3 years or not, right? So if there is no commit from last you can say 2 years or 1 year, you can think of it as a dead project. And if you want to contribute to it, you can first drop a message to the maintainer ki hi, I am interested in contributing to this project, is this repository still active, and you can wait for the maintainer to respond you on that. If he responds positive, then you can definitely go and solve its issues, right? So yeah, so these are the points that you should be considering for checking the quality of a repository before making your contribution. So again, even now you have pick up the repository, you might think if there are like 90 to 80 issues or more than 500 issues in a repository, which one you should be picking. right? So the things here are quite simple. If you have understanding of the requirement, if the step of reproduction of that issue which are going to solve are clearly mentioned, है ना, and you yourself is able to understand or reproduce that issue on your own device, then you matlab then you can obviously solve it, right? So it will be best if you just pick up the issues that are very descriptive in nature, right? And if their description is not there, you can drop a message to the maintainer again, hi, I am interested in solving this issue, but I didn't find the thing you have mentioned in it. Can you please tell me the steps to reproduce it, right? Something like that, a message for maintainer, so that he can, you know, give you proper steps to reproduce the issue and you can solve it, right? And also just keep in mind, if even if the issue is clearly mentioned, it might take a lot of your time to solve. So pick it up when you feel you are interested in solving this problem, right? So for this I can also show you an example. So where is this one? Yeah, so you can see there was an issue on screen rotation on this project presently. Okay, it's an app which is active on the Play Store and it's being used by lots of people. So it's one of also it is maintained by Allison. Allison is one of the क्या कहते हैं, engineer working in Dropbox. So it's a well reputed what you can say repository. So if you can see, the issue the guy have mentioned here is well documented. You can see the steps to reproduce it, and he also explained what device he was using while he reproduced it, you know. So you can see it's an it was very easy for me to, you know, understand this. I took the clone of this repository, I tried it on my device and it happened. So that's when I went in and I asked Allison to assign me this project, and then I resolved it later. Okay, and even on this project it's the Spiky Sanju's repository recently has become a GD. He's also my friend, and I'm also in the group of the Coding Monks. It's an open source क्या कहते हैं, organization where we do make open source projects, and we are also expecting some contribution. If you guys are interested, you can definitely come along and help us into those. So it was the first time I was meeting this chap, and it was the issue that he has mentioned into the repository. So it was also mentioned, right? It was he also described what the issue was here, and he also put some UI on what kind of behavior he is expecting. So this was like the UI which he has told me that he requires, right? But still there were some steps that was missing. So what I did, I took his understanding and I opened up all the clarification things so that Sanju, the maintainer, and me, who is contributing, are on same page, right? After going through these steps, he also revisited those and answered everything onto me, and also he told me how from where I can get the code reference from, right? So this is much more valuable step. If I missed it, I might have done something which was looking like this but not behaving like the way we have been expecting, right? So it's really it will be really helpful if you when you are going to pick up a project, you read its description, understand what he wants, try to reproduce it. If you have some points left which you think you need to ask before starting, you should definitely go and ask those questions, and you should wait, right? Have patience, have him respond back to you, and he can share some reference like this that could be easily much more beneficial for you. If I would have gone and implemented it everything line by line, it would have taken some kind of effort from my end. But since he have given me a reference, I have to copy paste the code from. I copy pasted it and I modified it according to the architecture which application was following, right? So I will come to this point later as well, how you should be putting the code down there. But this is the thing you need to keep in mind, right? So before picking up, you should be clear with the steps, the issue, the requirement, right? And if you don't know about it, ask the maintainer about it, right? So now you have done the initial analysis, you are ready to ask for the maintainer to assign that issue to you. So this is what I'm calling the first interaction or the first response. So it's very crucial that you get it right, because if you are very immature, show immatureness while reaching out to the maintainer, he might not give you that issue to solve, even if you are interested into it. So this is the kind of steps I generally follow. First I try to introduce myself, then I try to state my intention to contribute, then I ask for any clarification, right? Then I request maintainer to assign me this issue. So you can say, as an example, I say, hi, myself Chetan Gupta, I've been doing, I have experience of 4+ years in Android, and I'm interested in contributing to your open source project. And this was the introduction, one liner simple introduction, right? Then I say ki, then I state my intention that ki I am participating in Hacktoberfest, right? So and I'm interested in contributing to your repository. I have tried to reproduce this issue and I have found XYZ things. Please can you answer this point, and you can assign me this issue, right? So this kind of statement I try to put out. You can see their example here as well, right? Where is this? So I went on to Alison. I said I would like to work on this. If it's open for contribution, please assign this to me. Then I also mentioned to her that I am also participating in Hacktoberfest. So please mark it as a contribution, and also share the guide how she can do it. And she did all those things that was required for it to be accepted, right? And why I am also telling you to state your intention, because what might have happened if I didn't have told her ki I am here to contribute for Hacktoberfest. Then what would have happened ki if I would have taken like more than 2-3 months to solve this issue, but the Hacktoberfest has been ended in 1 month, है ना? So she could have follow up with me ki Hacktoberfest has been over, are you still interested in contributing or not? Otherwise I can pick up and I can solve it, or I could remove you from the issue, right? So if you state your intention, it will make much more clear to the maintainer that should he or she assign you to the issue, and if assign you for how much time. She can decide ki after 1 month, when the Hacktoberfest is over, she could remove you from the assignee if you don't complete it, right? So it's good if you give that intention up front, right? Also, like I have previously told you, ask for clarification. In this example, everything was clear to me, but with Sanju's one, there was some step that I need to come on the same level. So that's why I asked him upfront, is these are things that you are expecting, right? So that what I did, and I expect you also do that. And yeah, then once request them to assign you the issue, right? Okay, so once the issue is assigned, go solve this problem, right? So today we are not going to cover the steps that you guys can actually put to solve. So it would be varying with person to person, right? The way you explore the code, the way you get a issue unresolved, or the different mechanism you are going to use to solve the problem. But the thing is that these are the tips that you need to keep in mind while solving the issue. First is that always let maintainer know how you're going to solve this issue, right? So he can give you initial feedback. So if you see, this is another example of initial revision of the requirements. So I just let him know what is in my head, and he reverted me with the his expectations, right? So always before starting off with the project and give a solution, once you are done with trying cloning the app, reproducing the issue, then the issue is assigned, you go and think about the solution, right? What you can do, you can put debugger and see where the issue is coming out. If you are able to figure out ki acha, okay, if rotation is happening, this value is not getting persisted, that's why x has become y. So now you have the reason why the issue was happening. Now instead of putting that value into view model and get done with it, you should go and ask the maintainer, hey, I have figured out the issue, it was because of this variable not getting persisted. I have multiple ways to solve this problem. I can put it into the bundle, or I can put it into the view model. What do you think would be a expected solution, would be good approach to solve it? So if you take his initial feedback, what will happen? Imagine everything he was caching was in bundle, not in view model, right? So he might reject your PR when you are done with the solution, that I am not expecting to keep these values inside of my view model. I am doing it in my bundles. So what will happen? It will be a rework from your end, right? Because you can't go and fight with him ki yaar why don't you use view model X and Y things. You should not be fighting it, because it's his project and he's maintaining a standard which is consistent throughout the app from him. You can definitely go and suggest him the idea ki what will be the benefit of putting it into the view model, but if he say no and says ki it has to be done through bundles, then you should be then you will be reworking on it to solve rewrite entire code base to support the bundles, you know. Though you can avoid that entire route just by having initial feedback of the approach you are going to use. Also it will be once you fork the project, it will be great if you don't start working into the default branch. Create a new branch and make sure your branch name and your commit names, the commit message that are going to put, are pragmatic. Pragmatic means very logical, right? For example, you can also see if in my PRs what I do, I always put a change log in them. So okay, it's not on this one. So this is the format which Ashley Allison has asked me to put it in. Mostly otherwise what happens, I put a change log kind of a heading in which I explain what all changes I had made. So just let me see if the solution is mentioned in here or not. It's in 17. Okay. So I don't think it's mentioned in here, but try to put a change log in your commit messages, right? Well, for example, if I modify any code base in a view model, so write updated the view model name, right? And if you added an entire new feature, instead of saying that I have added this, you can add the file added the file name. You should be doing like this: ki added login feature, right? So while you are working with what we say adding the feature, don't explain the files that you have added. Tell the achievement, the new feature which you have added. If you are deleting or modifying something, then you should mention the file names, right? You might think ki, you can already see all those things in the git changes, but what happens ki if you do it on the commit section na, that will be visible at the front facing side where this guy is like in this section, it's on the front page itself. So if there is any file which the author doesn't want you to delete, so he can directly look at here instead of after going to the file change. So many times what happen ki if you submit the PR, they might be in a hurry or they don't want to go inside of file changes. They think ki we have already done the initial level discussion, so the solution will be right or something like that, and they can merge it instantly, and then they can see that their entire feature has been missing. So it will be great if you can put what you have modified right in directly inside of your commit messages. Okay, but that's advice. You can do either ways, whichever format you feel is very logical to you, but just be pragmatic, right? And the third thing is that keep the changes minimal, right? For example, even while doing this issue, I was able to face ki he also asked me to do two different issue into that. The ticket he opened was of different issue, and what happened after the pull to there was an issue I remember clearly regarding pull PTR, pull to refresh. Since pull to refresh was not already in the app, I created a PR issue and I asked him to give the support of PTR. Then he said okay, we can add it. Then he created a issue for that and he assigned it to me. But later, because of this PTR, the APIs were not cache. Some APIs were crashing. Ki if no internet connection comes up, if we do PTR, the data was not getting refreshed. So it's an entirely different feature, you can say, because now you have to give compatibility ki that after PTR, if the API is on invalid state, then they have to refetch, otherwise they have to use the cache data, right? So this is an entire different issue. So you should not be doing that into one entire PR. You should ask for ask the maintainer to create a separate issue out of it, right? So the thing that I want to emphasize is that keep your changes minimal. Otherwise, if you give a PR with lot of file changes, for example 50 or 80, so the maintainer will be having hard time reviewing it, and you can understand it yourself. If you just feel it's very hard for just a small feature that I asked him for it to contribute, then it might happen that he won't do the code review, he will merge it, otherwise he will keep it as a tag and he will not merge it ever, right? So try to keep changes minimal. Okay, so this you should be trying to do. So now it's a stage when you have solved the issue and now you are ready to submit your pull request, the PR. So it is very important that you link your issues, link your your PR should have a issue link assigned with to it. Okay, so you can see there is a section linked issue, and there they have tagged this link. If I click on it, I can go to the issue repository where I have given the solution, right? So it makes it very easy to navigate for future use cases. So definitely link issues which you are resolving in a PR, right? After after you are raising your PR, this commit message kind of things come up where you have to write your description, this message, right? So inside of this message, try to add a change log, and it should be very high level, not detailed one. Ki you have added onboarding feature, you have added error handling, you have modified view model, these kind of things, right? So you have to be you should give high level overviews, and if you have added some libraries, so also do mention that ki library added this, okay? And if there is any other requirements, for example, if for example I did lot of data flow diagrams for a repository. So but to preview that data flow diagrams, they have to install a new plugin into their Android Studio, right? So you should mention that inside of the inside your PR description as well. Ki you need to add this plugin to see the preview, right? Or you can also, if you are doing GitHub action kind of thing, na, so you have to also tell ki how they can trigger this action and they can test it themselves. So the third point is related to that. Ki how do you give a proof that that your code that you have submitted is working, right? There are two kind of things. One is video recording which you can submit, and the second is unit test cases, right? So if you see on Allison's repository, when I submitted my solution, I just said ki I have tested it manually on the device, right? She have merged it, but in one of the repository, when I said that, so she said ki I have test cases that have been disturbed when you have added this feature. So please go and give compatibility to those unit test cases. So when I did that, I refactored the unit test cases to cater add my feature as well. So a lot of things were missed out, which I didn't realize which I have done, right? So always make sure that you are also giving compatibility of unit test cases if they are in the repository. If they are not in the repository, what you can do, you can record a video from a screen capturing thing which is showing how you have resolved that issue. Right now if I can show something like that to you, NY app there, okay, the CodeMonk repository, there is an Expenso app. Just let me show you that. Okay, I think it's on Spikey's one. So if you go at Sanju's repository, yeah, so this Expenso is the app, right? I have a issue that is closed in here. Its author is me, right? Scope storage and adding this. Wait, okay, this is not the one, but the issue was related to it. Just let me see if it is still there or not. So give me a second. So it is not linked in here, so you can see the issue which I have been telling you. I will be not able to navigate quite easily if I don't mark the things, right? I can see in PR. Okay, you can see this. So what I've did, I've attached a video proof that the feature they have asked me for exporting the CSV is there. So you can see I've done it like that, export to CSV, and it will I will go into my Explorer and I can show that SVG has been created, right? So this is the proof of that concept ki export to SVG functionality has been given and it is working, right? You can see those values that are coming out. So what you should be doing, you should be like this, you should be adding these things, right? So also if there are some limitation, right? So you can see the way I've implemented this feature, it uses storage access to write your SVG file. But storage access in Android 30 plus, where scoped storage there, the implementation will be quite different. So what I did, I created two PRs. One, this was below API 30, and I have asked him to create a issue which is closed right now. You can see that he gives scoped storage support for Android 10 plus version, right? So these two PRs are related. But if I have added the export to CSV, that scope storage code in here as well, the PR might have become huge, right? To keep it minimalistic, I have segregated it out into two PRs, right? So that you should be doing when you can. Also, once you are done, go and ask for maintainer for code reviews, right? So even after the code reviews, they can figure out, they can advise you a lot of things. For example, when I was doing Allison's repository, even after giving this, yeah, so this was the issue which I have solved and have given it to her. So she has given me she has given me the improvement what I can do to enhance my implementation. Now I know ki I can create custom contract and how I can decouple them from my activity. I would have not known that if she doesn't have done the code review. So even I have said, oh, I realized that it is much more cleaner approach, and I thanked her for her, and she merged it after I submitted the PR. So it will be best, if you ask the maintainer to do a serious code review. That way he can share your learning and also suggest you improvements on your repositories, right? And also what might happen, even in code review, the changes could be a lot, and it might happen that you have to go and rework on your project as well, the entire solution which you have given. That's why it's very essential कि you follow this initial discussion wala step, right? This maintainer to let know your initial approach. If you do that, then even if code review changes come, that won't be the entire change of your solution. It will be mostly the architecture related thing or some other things that projects needs or the maintainer has a flavor of, right? So always ask for maintainer's code review. And now the hard part, the code review process. So okay, so first thing which you should be keeping in your mind while going into a code review process is to be open for the changes. I know you have put in a lot of effort, like and lot of time to give that solution, but it might happen that the maintainer don't like at all what solution you have given, and he could ask you to completely rewrite the entire solution, right? So be open to that, don't take it critically, right? So both of you are guys are having a conversation, not a fight, hopefully a conversation where you are exchanging your words to tell why you have done things in this way, can bring more clarity to each other. But if this step, if you don't do this, you can seriously hurt how this dynamic of conversation could go between you and the maintainer, right? So even if there is lot of code change, try to be open for that and don't be disrespectful or fight with the maintainer ki why, even though we have this initial discussion, why you are rejecting my PR, right? It could happen that ki the way you have architected thing, it doesn't go at all with the code consistency that has been going on already in the project, so don't be disheartened, don't be don't feel bad that that maintainer hasn't asked you for lot for change, or he has rejected your PR, right? Just be open to change, and don't be disrespectful towards the maintainer, right? So also, some place might would happen ki coding standard is not defined, right? For example, there are two coding guides the way you can write Kotlin. One is the official Kotlin standard guide, and one is the Android's Kotlin standard style guide. So what might happen, your ID might be configured with this one, Kotlin's style guide, but the project might be in Android, and that guy might be have been doing all those things in Android one, right? So he might come to you and fight to you that you have, you know, refactored my entire code with wrong formatting, right? And he might not merge your code base because of that. So you know, don't be disheartened because of that. Try to you follow the coding standard that the author has already mentioned in the project, right? So and if you are not able to figure out na ki what are the guidelines, go and explore the code that you are nearby, right? If you see 2-3 view model class, you will be able to understand ki how the guy has architected the thing. So you can go and follow or copy paste most of the things that you have done in your solution as well, right? So always respect author's implementation, right? In that regard, and yeah, change all the things that the author has requested, right? After you have done with the code review, hopefully that would be merged and it will be a happy day for us. But don't go directly into the closing of this conversation with the maintainer, right? So what you should do, you should thank the maintainer ki that you have given me this opportunity, thanks a lot, है ना? I have learned a lot, and you should share your bit of experience with them, है ना? And ask for your future collaboration or opportunity. For example, what might have happened, matlab later happened, Alison also, you know, reached me out for working on different PRs as well. So it wouldn't have been happening if I have not you know, talked to her properly, or also have, you know, even while closing the PR or contribution, I wouldn't have thanked her. She wouldn't have involved me into the future projects as well, right? Even what might happen, if you, for example, there are a lot of open source, there are a lot of companies that are open source sourcing the project, right? So for example, let's say ki there is a Kotlin's project and it's open source, you contribute to it, and some team member of the Kotlin group can reach you out with a job opportunity ki that I have seen your code base, the contribution you have done, and I really like your solution. I will like to get you hired inside the company, है ना? So you can get an interview opportunity throughout of that, right? I have been reached out by many companies because of that. So it will be definitely very fruitful for you. Ki when you are closing the conversation, you ask for maintainer about future collabs or opportunities that you guys can do later, right, down the road. Also, what happens ki the contribution you might be doing could be of any repository or any Android app which is already live on the Play Store or already having it released. So you can request humbly to the maintainer that they can also add you as a contributor inside that project, right? So what Alison did, that this app presently is on the Play Store, right? She has added my name into the release changes. Ki I have the release that has been done has my contribution into it as well, right? So what it helps in ki now I can go and showcase that ki I have contributed this project which is getting used by 50,000 plus users, and because of me that release was possible, right? So it's very fruitful for your you can say portfolio if you could request them to add the changes that you have done with your name inside the release notes, right? Also, the last thing, like in the previous session I have said you ki be vocal about it. Go on social media, share your learnings, right? Ki the moment you get a PR assigned to you, go on to the Twitter or LinkedIn and say I have been assigned this open source project. It's something that I'm really interested to contribute in. I have figured out the issue. So you can segregate out your discovering part, your issue reporting part, and your how you have solved the problem part into a small chunk on small write-ups, and you can post it in sections, like in a thread chain, you can say, or in some pieces, so that you can gain more attraction and you can tag the authors, right? That what it will do, it will involve community to you. It will have some community involvement as well, the issue you are solving, right? This way people will know that you are contributing to some open source project, right? They can what has happened ki I have done some open source contribution. I went on Twitter and tweeted it ki I have solved this issue, thanks Alison for giving me this opportunity, and I explained how I solved that issue and what all new APIs I have learned in a long chain thread. Later what happened, a Google guy came up to me and he also gave me 2-3 points ki how I can improve the solution on, and then I went back again and then I refactored the code and created a new PR regarding those changes, right? So if you tweet out little things and the learning that you are getting out, someone can reach out to you and tell you what all approach you can modify into it, right? It will be very beneficial for you as again, right? You will be visible in the media as well. So you can also tag me and Vineet, that will also increase your reach, right? So if you tag me, all of my connection will be able to see it. If you tag Vineet, all of his connection will be able to see it, and we can actively give you some respond over it. Ki you can do X things better, Y things better. We can even go into your code base and see if you are doing right or not, and we can also give you a level 1 code review onto that, right? So it will be great if you guys can tag me into your PRs as well. So yeah, also Yogesh just reached me out with some really cool things I didn't know that was there. So for example, if you see this, there is a repository. I am the home page of the repository. If I press the dot key, right, the key which dot, it can open this entire project inside of a web cloud VS Code. So if you guys don't know what is a VS Code, it is a editor which can be converted through plugins into a क्या कहते हैं IDE, very close to a IDE, right? And it is very lightweight. So if you use it like this, you can navigate to the code base pretty easily, right? If you are here for first time on the repository, if you want to scan what kind of code, what kind of architecture, what kind of packaging the guy has done into the repository, you can on first level you can use this to do to see the code base, right? The navigation is not there. For example, if you do it in the Android source code, we can click control and click and navigate. That part is missing, but still you can find lot of files, find the code, get the feel how things are architected and packaged. So this will definitely help you out in getting level 1, what we can say, review of the code base which you are going to work with. So definitely try to use it. Also, the second tip that Yogesh shared was he has curated a list of repository which you guys can contribute to, right? He will share that inside of the channel itself, right? But I will highly suggest to go to that repository link when you are not able to find the project on your own. So guys, you can drop your question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions.